Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Thanks for given to me. In this occasion, we would like to introduce you to the topic greeting introduction. Uh, let's have a look in the first part, which is the greeting. A greeting is the act of communication. It consists of two types, informal and informal. In a formal, it expresses to the other people and also in a formal situation. Meanwhile, in informal, you can use commonly for friends only. Here, some example of formal greeting and the typical responsive. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, good night, how are you, how's everything, how are things, how's your life, how do you do? And the typical responsive like good morning, good afternoon, good evening, good night. I'm pretty good, thanks. I'm just fine, thank you. Everything is always fine. I'm very well. How do you do? The next one is about informal greeting, like hello, hi, how are you doing? How is your going? What's up? And how's life? And the typical responsive like hello, hi, pretty good, well, I'm okay, fine, thanks, not too bad. And here, the example of the dialogue using a greeting between Mr. Donny and Mr. Tom. Good morning, Mr. Tom. Good morning. How are you today? I'm pretty good, thanks. Excuse me, Mr. Tom. What company do you work for? I work for Bosowa Corps. What about you? I work for a bank. What do you work? I see. I work in finance department. Okay, Mr. Tom. It's a pleasure to talk to you. See you next time. See you. Here another dialogue between John and Tom. Hi Tom, how are you doing today? Pretty good, thanks. Is there any homework today? Yes. Have you finished to do it? Yes, I have. Well, glad to see you. Glad to see you too. The next part, we will discuss about introduction. Here's some expression of introduction in the beginning, like, let me introduce myself. I'm glad for this opportunity to introduce myself. Here is some information about me. And the last, I'm glad to write a little bit about myself. After you begin with the introduction part is here, you can introduce your name. You can use like, my name is Kenji Kitao. I'm Kenji Kitao. My first name is Hanako. My last name is Hayashi. Everyone calls me Ken. Please call me Taka. Later, you can also add your birthplace, like I'm from Kyoto, which was a capital of Japan from 794 to 1868. I was born in Nara and I grew up in Osaka. I'm from Nagoya, but I have lived in Kyoto for 10 years. The last, my hometown is Asia near Kobe. You can also add information about your age, like I'm in my teens, 30s, 20s, 30s. I'm in my late, mid, early 20s, 30s, and I'm not so old. You can also add your job, like I'm a student at the University of Kansas. I'm studying at Harvard University. I'm at the University of Chicago. And the last, you can also add your measuring point studying like I'm majoring in engineering, I'm major in biology, I'm student in comparative literature program, my major is linguistic. You can use as many as possible function in this PowerPoint text. Okay, that's all for today. Thank you for your attention. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.